Copying a board can be a simple process. It usually takes less than 10 minutes to get all the necessary dimensions to be able to reproduce any board perfectly. I start by taking a piece of tape and running it down the center of the board. This gives me something to write on and to mark the measuring points. So I mark the very tips of the board. 6 inches from the nose, 12 inches from the nose, 24 inches from the nose, 6 inches from the tail, 12 inches from the tail, 24 inches from the tail, and the exact center. I always use exact center because it gives a very easy to understand measuring point. My rocker bar balances on that very center. We'll call that the apex. I measure the rocker at the tip, 6 inches, 12 inches, 24 inches, and 24 from the tail, 12 from the tail, 6 from the tail, and the tip. You can do a lot more measuring if you want to, but I find that these amount of measurements are enough to get a perfect curve. Longer boards you might need a few more, but on a short board this is perfect. So I'm checking the concave, V or flat, and I'm writing it on the stringer. This particular board is flat with a double concave, so it's a very simple board to copy. I'm checking the double concave. And I'm writing it down. But it's a nice even flow through the midsection of the board all the way to the tail. So it's a very simple one to copy. I'm checking the fin placement and marking it on my piece of tape. These are pieces of soldering wire. I bend the soldering wire around the rail to get a rail template. I do it at the center, 12 inches from the tail, 12 inches from the nose. You could do more of these if you wanted, but generally if you get these points correct, you flow the rail shape in between these 2 points, 3 points, and you'll get a nice even flow, perfect rails every time. So next I'm going to take my thickness measurements at the same locations. And again, I'll write it down on the piece of tape. This piece of tape has a few uses. It's a way for me to double check my work further down the process, and you'll see why. And it gives me a quick way to write down and visually know exactly where these measurements go. And now I'm just taking my outline measurements. Same place, tip 6 inches from the tail, 12 inches from the tail, 24 from the tail, and same for the nose. If you have any distinctive features like wings or bumps in the outline, you're going to have to mark those also. But when you have a clean curve like this, the same generic spots of measuring work fine. So now I peel my piece of tape off, and I'll stick it on the wall for easy access and quick reference later.